Hello, and this is Makané's Tarot. Welcome to today's reading. And we're approaching the new moon, so starting to think about what things that we have completed still want another round of attention, or what new goals, intentions, insights we're seeking to discover can be made manifest. And maybe we're starting to feel this full summer swing, beautiful energy of stepping into the world. And I'm very excited for a garden walk. I want to get inspired for my next garden as I am preparing to move. What are you excited for in July? Do you have things you're looking forward to? All right, well, let's look at the energy of today and what we need to know to understand. Doing this a little differently today because it's fun to change it up. Okay. All right. What energy, knowledge, truth, awakening do we need? Oh, wow. We totally drew this one last time. We did a reading with this deck. This showed up in the realm of where we were moving into, and this is sort of where we're coming from, so that's interesting. So just gonna take a little looky at the meaning of this card. This deck comes with an extensive, beautiful book with a lot of insight. All right, so we're at IV, the Eternal Child. And this card is all about joy, connecting to what is timeless and ageless, what is radiant and fearless, how our inner child seeks joy above all else at any cost, struggling being bound to physical limitations, COVID restrictions, etc. So anything that demands attention to detail, logistics, and your child no. So I also really discovered this with in the realm of psychedelic medicine, that your inner child really wants to radiate through the fearless, radiant, joyful, but unbound, not really heeding demands of detail. So giving yourself a very spacious, generous day without any kind of driving, obviously, or dealing with work things, or having to deal with minutia, the internet, etc. So the eternal child wants to nix rules, responsibilities, go beyond what others say is possible. So eternal child is really about manifest destiny. And last reading I started to get into self-actualization. The last card was epiphany, and so this epiphany can really be coming from inner child and the eternal child. So what we want is to be surrounded by friends, to be free, drink divine wine, soma, create, let everything good pour from earth and sky, sip from the well of eternal youth, play forever, the magic, the glimmering, what is precious about life. So accepting all good and accepting all in each other, when you're a child and you meet someone with that childlike curiosity. So this is a great way to remember, as we're re-entering the world, to hold on to that childlike curiosity And try to avoid going in with preconceived notions, judgments, presumptions, and just really get curious, asking lots of beautiful questions. Okay, so this is the next card. So interestingly enough, we have lots of fire going on at the center. We have radiating white lines indicating power, indicating energy that's like really strong and potent and active, very yang, very like in motion. So in this reading in the book, it talks about the Sanskrit word for Agni, the flame at the center, the connection to purpose, the sense of life as a sacred gift. So whatever we can see, our inner flame wants to go out and get. So it's our desire, what like drives us. Anything that reignites that fire, like that momentum, start to like cup your hands gently and like call it in. So what is forgotten, protect your inner flame. It says no matter how harshly the winds around you blow. And I think about this like I had a dream recently, and it was all about giving things away and how it was like creating space for new life. And obviously that's related to moving, but I think it's also about my inner space a lot as well. So what things I'm carrying that I want to release, but also realizing that like in a dream, everything is energy. And so giving things away can mean like overly giving away the energy. So like it's like hold on to the energy, but recompost, reuse the item so that it's not just thrown in the garbage, but it's lovingly repurposed, reused, found a new home for, sent to a donation, sent to another with love, but like not out of like a desire to destroy. So like the energy itself, letting it be treated as something sacred and beautiful. I guess I've been thinking a lot about energy and how to utilize energy, because I think we're all made of energy. This stuff is just abundant but indestructible, but at the same time giving it away. Like there is a sense of depletion that can occur in the body with like a lack of chi is what I'm dealing with in my diagnosis with my acupuncturist I'm working with, and I'm so skimming the surface here because there's so much to understand about this wonderful complex medicine. But forgive me for summarizing my limited understanding. But essentially, the chi of my being is a bit depleted, and so stoking that fire. It's sort of like the flame doesn't go out, even if like we pass away, the flame is just transferred, but the flame can become dim. And we also know that times the flame is like burning really hot and like really intense and like, oh my god, there's a lot going on, a lot of energy, a lot of like, whoa, drive and motivation and fun and play, or just like fury or passion. So like just like letting the energy be what it wants to be, like, which is like a balanced, navigatable, not too harsh, not too weak. So like what the inner archetype of this card is saying is to like light the wick. So the poet, the mystic, or the shaman would call you with the language of the flame. So if that were to come up, it would be, this card would be an initiation. So we'll just see what else is in the ether for us. Okay, coming into future. Ooh, the underworld. This card looks so gnarly. Every time I see it, I'm like, ugh. But like, actually, this is like a beautiful place. Like in shamanism, like we travel into the underworld to connect with what is divine and beautiful and what is potent, and like it leads you to the next realm, and it's all about the beautiful worms and what is alive and unseen and all that potential energy. So here in the archetype of the underworld is about a possible nightmare, ordeal, or the bottom. So the archetypal territory, the underworld, is about typically suffering, pain, the darkest shadow realm, the places we try to avoid. So it drives me night. The darkness might wish to pull us into its depths. So sometimes you have a bad dream or unexpected incident, conflict. So visiting the underworld is sort of about respecting this dangerous power. So traversing the forces, helping us to bow humbly. So I was reading about forest weaving and how part of the beauty of the forest and connecting with the energy of nature is that little bit of awe and even a little bit of terror. So going into the unknown means that we don't know what we're going to find. And that little bit of fear, trepidation, or even like a large amount, like even like coming into a jungle at night. Like I once had the opportunity to walk into a Peruvian jungle with a guide at night, and we were told to remain very, very still and turn off the lights and just see what arises, and that if a panther were to come, like we had certain instructions what to do, but just like I was terrified. And I had been walking around this jungle with the guide in the daylight without a lot of fear, I guess with a lot of respect, but at night it really brought out that sense of like, oh yeah, there are panthers here and they're hunting right now and they're enormous and beautiful, and this is like a really awesome world we live in where there are these magical, magnificent, and yes, terrifying beasts, because if they were not, there would be nothing beautifully mysterious about the world. It would be like, okay, just walking around the park, like la-di-da, like no, we need to appreciate and protect wild, beautiful, and humbling places. So the fact that this card is coming up, it's like basically a sense that we are summoned to harness our inner strength. So something we previously underestimated in ourselves. And like I turn a child once, all sunshine and roses and daisies, but obviously we need things that are challenging and difficult to strengthen us, to develop us in order to grow up, in order to become fully evolved in this realm. Perhaps this is the reason why we're here. I kind of believe that we're here to learn and to develop, and if not, like what's it all for? So I think like the flame is about this desire to like ascend, to reach a higher place of understanding. The eternal child is like where we came from, was like, oh, it's nice to just stay where we are and frolic in the sunshine and never have the sun go down. But the truth is that the sun always sets every single night, and in that darkness we find our inner light. So we choose to be the light in the darkness, and then that also gives us the strength to face what is insurmountable, what is unknown. So this can make us become deeper friends, like better and more intimate partners. It says here, soldiers of light amid shadowy times, facing darkness and choosing light is the most profound calling of all. And this is about bravery, depth, facing deepest fears, versus if we're refusing this call, it's about denial, suppression, could be our own sort of latent, unconscious, even like tendencies toward like doing something bad. It says you're evil, but I don't really necessarily, yeah, I feel like there's like a lot of gray areas more so than like this like good evil paradigm. Go Deeper, Meeting of the Shadow, which is a book, I guess, or a poem. So one of the earliest stories on record is the goddess Inanna's descent and her descending into the underworld. Since the story is old as time itself, so like old as recorded history, and like this descent into the underworld allows her to return anew. So these are sort of like a circle, really. So coming back and reconnecting with the part of us that is eternal, that is who we were born as and who we will continue to be. And then the flame is sort of the the calling and the inciting desire and the things that give life meaning, that continue to make life a challenge, that continue to make life interesting and palatable and fun, and continue to raise us to new peaks. And if we can see that the light is with us even in the darkness, that this is never extinguished, that we carry it with us in our innermost heart, and this is like the dark cavern is like the innermost soul. So then we can journey into the underworld and actually bring back tremendous insight. And this is another thing that came up in my dream and in the interpreting of it, is that when we have a bad dream, when we face things that frighten us, or especially things that infuriate us, if we go to the root of those feelings, then we can often connect to inner childhood feelings. So the root of those angers in us is related to something we experienced in childhood, and what that is might be scary for some people, and I would recommend talking this through with a qualified professional who understands your mental health and how to help you take care of it and how to stay in a place of balance. So what I'm sensing here is that you're invited to do some deep inner work, maybe some shamanism. You're invited to be a guide, and you're invited to reconnect with a lost part of yourself. So it's necessary to go in. You're feeling the calling now, and it's necessary to go in, to dig deep, and that part of you that you maybe felt like was lost, that joy, or that inner artist, that inner free spirit, is just wanting to return, but maybe it needs an invitation, such as permission and space to fully feel and heal what has occurred that has made you sort of shut down some part of you that's no, this is the thing that makes me so mad. I can't feel it. It's not safe for me to feel it. Find a way to make it safe for you. Find that ally, that professional helper, healer, who can guide you to make this safe, or find a beautiful ritual that has a really strong container that helps you strengthen your inner container to hold this feeling or this arising sensation. So that's what I'm getting from this. And this is really nothing to have fear about, but it's about having respect and about trusting that there is no such thing as a bad feeling, because we're human beings and we're here to feel everything, and all of that is going to deepen our well of understanding and lead to beautiful light and beautiful rainbow of experience that we can open with new compassion to more and more beings, the more we can connect authentically to all the parts of ourselves. That's my firm belief. And may your day be full of nurturing light, and give yourself some time to reflect on this. Maybe journal. Journaling is a beautiful tool. Figure out what are you digging for, and what is calling you, and what beautiful manifestations is your inner child begging you to invite. Have a beautiful, wonderful day.